Harder.
Yeah. 2008.
And we'll ask Mr. Harder to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next is public comment. Now is the appropriate time for any visitors in the audience to be recognized and to speak on items both on the agenda and of general concerns to the patrons of the Green River Schools. There will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. The board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel, and therefore matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so next is approval agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of consent agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Oh, I lost my page. We have nothing for goals and leadership, no bids. And so next would be Mrs. Harder giving us the budget.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Flom, Superintendent Behringer, and trustees. You have before you the 25-26 preliminary budget. The Sweetwater County School District Number 2 annually by statute can approve up to 1 mil levy for this rec board. This year will be our 15th year. Revenues are projected to raise $1,072,520 based on the projected decrease of the district's assessed valuation. With the interest, it's a total revenue of $1,152,520. Of that, reoccurring expenses are $971,475. Community grants are $250,288 for a total expense of $1,221,763, which includes $109,253 that is set aside for the turf fields, with a fund balance of $3,132,679. And with that, I ask for your approval for the preliminary budget. Any questions?
So I need a motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, we're down to board comments. And I'll start with Ashley.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, I would just say, good job, Katie. I wasn't ready for board comments, sorry.
Michelle?
I like those meetings short and sweet. And thanks, Katie.
Well, I just thank Katie. Katie, how much, what's our decrease over the year? Do you have? I mean, with legislators, with our tax cut?
Yeah.
How is that?
You want a percentage on that?
Just a roughly number.
I can tell you that the percentage is a decrease of 20.88%.
Yeah.
There's a county and a dollar.
So this fund will take a hit next year. So just when you're thinking about legislators, so.
Good work, Ashley. I know you keep Katie in line. That's all I got.
Tommy?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Ashley and Katie, thank you. You guys do a good job. So
Yeah, thank you, Ashley and Katie. You have anything, Craig? Okay. Let's call this meeting adjournment.
Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Coordinator from Harrison, Melanie, helping us out with some certificates. Henrik, would you like to share yours with the board and they'll just pass it on down? Did you bring it? So Henrik wrote a graphic novel, which is a new category for young authors. And he won first place at state and it's pretty
Alright.
great. So I asked him to bring it to
Oh.
share with you guys. So we had a lot of students participate across the district again this year and over 40 of those were sent to the district level. And out of those 40, we had 31 district awards that were first through third place. We only send our first place winners to the state competition, and we sent 22 to the state. And of those 22, we have 10 results. So that's pretty good. The state only awards first place. That's it. And then they have honorable mentions in some categories and at some grade levels. So we have quite a few of those. I want to let you know that all of the first place entries are available to read online. They're digital now and they're online at wyomingliteracy.org if anyone's interested in that, but thought that was pretty cool. So I'm going to start with our honorable mentions. And in the fiction category, we have an honorable mention for 7th grader Sophia Reading for her story, Caught in the Tailwind. And 12th grader Abigail Allred for her fiction True Blood Prologue. And she's not with us tonight. Next honorable mentions are in the nonfiction category. We had 1st grader Xavier Phillips from Monroe with his story Swimmer's Tale about his dog. A 7th grader Keegan Patterson from Lincoln with The Evolution of Medicine. 12th grader Lily Nijinoda, Opening New Doors. And then we'll move to poetry. We had 2 honorable mentions in poetry. Kindergartner Lainey Mullaney from Truman. Her poetry book called All My Poetry. She was brave enough to read us 2 of her poems at our school assembly. So that was pretty great. 7th grader Nathalie Magana, To My First Love, her book of poetry. Okay, so we've got 3 first place winners in Green River. 2nd grader Nora Redden, a fiction story called School Stuff. And I should tell you that the awards for first place, I'm so sorry, they were in the mail from Casper and we don't have those, so I only have certificates for honorable mentions, but I will get you your giant ribbons, I promise. 5th grader Avon Walrath from Monroe wrote a nonfiction story called My 2024 Llama Packing Trip. And then we had Henrik Polson's graphic novel called The Story of a Mars Rover. And he is in 5th grade at Harrison. So these are our young authors from this year and super excited and proud of all the work that they have done. So thank you.
Congratulations. Great job, you guys.
Mrs. Mandros, can we bring you that book back tomorrow? Or does he want it back tonight?
Henrik, what do you think? It's okay. He said.
Okay, we'll bring it. It's gonna take, it's really cool.
It is very cool.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, next we have recognition of Green River High School All-State Wrestler. We have Josh Wisniewski, Eric Harris, and Clayton Wright to present. Very cool.
Hi, everyone. Superintendent Behringer and the board, thanks for having us. I'm going to just say a couple things about Lily, and then I'm going to defer to the coaches that have worked with her the most the last few years. She's an outstanding student athlete, stubborn, hardworking, resilient, tough. I couldn't be prouder of her. I'm excited about her next endeavors. I'm going to let Coach Clayton take over from here.
Well, I'm honored right now to really introduce Lily Harris. I mean, Green River's very first female state champion, undefeated 2025 season. I mean, this girl right here, she knew exactly what needed to get done. Just kind of review what she's accomplished, through the last 3 years. She was Green River's original female wrestler. Actually was part of one of my daughter's wrestling team as well. So that was fantastic for me to see her grow for the last 3 years. She's a 2-time All-State wrestler, 1-time champion, obviously, and then 2-time conference champion as well. Some of the achievements that she's made for over the last few years, obviously TOC, Vernal Tournament champions. She's a 2-time champion for that. So really proud of her for accomplishing that as well, because that's not a very easy tournament out there. She's planning on continuing her career in wrestling and as well as the academics down there at Mesa State in Colorado. I'm really proud of her for choosing that school. It's really close to everybody, so we can all go watch her wrestle. So that'll be awesome. Few other things too. She's just a great person. She's willing to do what it takes, to help others, within the community, whether it's in wrestling or just academics. So that's going to go really far with her, as she achieves new things out there for her career and just develops her new family, right? Few other things too. She's got great role models, her family, her friends, definitely her brothers, and I'm really thankful for her brother, helping out this year and just really just building that mold within the season. So appreciate you, Lily, and thank you for letting us share this story. Appreciate you guys.
So I'm her brother. It was kind of fun because I got to be her brother and her coach, which is a two-edged sword for her. But one great thing I love about Lily is that the role model that she is. Like, she found success. She's going to go down in history as, Green River's first female wrestler, and she gets to be that. I mean, we get to establish girls wrestling in Green River, and Green River has a history of wrestling. How great is it that my sister gets to be a role model to maybe my daughter, maybe my nieces and nephews that are going to be in town, and just a great person that she is. I hope she does great in college, and luckily I get to see it too. So thanks, Lily.
Thank you. Congratulations, Lily, and good luck at Mesa State. Next, we have recognition of Skills USA state winners. We have Cassidy, Locker, Godfredson, Lewis, and Kalinsky to present those.
Hi, I'm Aaron Locker. Mr. Cassidy was not able to make it here tonight, but Skills USA has really been a remarkable asset in our portfolio of offerings that we have for students. And if it's technical, they have it. Everything from the medical field to the welding to the automotive to the woodworking. They have like 200 and something odd competitions that students can compete in. Isaac Dahl, who was not able to be here tonight with me, took third in automotive refinishing. And what they're given is a panel with a base coat already applied on it. And if you just panel paint, say, a hood or a fender or a door, it won't match the car, even if it's the same, quote, color. So what the students have to do is they need to blend the prep area, like a damage in a fender. They blend that prep area into the existing panel. And this is what they do on your car when it gets repaired, so that it fools your eye and makes a gradient into the rest of the panel. And then they clear coat the entire panel and display it so that the panel matches the rest of the car. You can actually see the original paint through the new paint that you put on the panel. So he took third on that. I'm really proud. I thought his project looked really, really, really good as far as that's concerned. So And the other thing I wanted to mention is Todd Liebelt. He's the Cornwell tools dealer. Dropped us off at our high school shop, probably about, I would say conservatively, $20,000 worth of tools. So if you see him, he had an unfortunate accident with the tool truck. It rolled, and he seems to be okay, but he's getting out of the business. So when you look at a socket and it's $30 a piece, and there's 200 of them, that adds up really, really quickly. So if anybody sees him in the grocery store or around town, just tell him thanks. I really appreciate that. It really helps our program out and helps all of us out, and really shows what a community we have here in Green River. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ms. Goffredson and I am the welding teacher. This year for Skills USA, Weston Green, he is the state champion. He took first place in the novice competition for welding. He's on vacation with his family this year, so he's not here right now. For his competition, they are just given bare metal. They have to cut it, prep it, and weld it together. Their competition consisted of a lap joint, butt joint, and a T-joint, as well as a cutting pattern he had to do and measure out. He's a great kid with natural born talent. Welding, he picked it up and just came naturally to him. In our intermediate competition, Dominic Littlefield, he took 5th place. He did a great job. Again, he's in soccer, so he's not here to make it. But really proud of him. He competed last year in novice, and just to see his growth moving up in the different levels of the competition has been great. We're excited to see what both these students do next year. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Josh Lewis, and with me I have Tanner Hokinson and Anna Adams. They're part of the health science team of Skills USA. So Tanner, this was his first competition, and I don't think he knew quite what he was getting into. He did job skill demonstration. He was part of our health knowledge bowl team. He did first aid, CPR, and medical terminology. For his job skill demo, he kind of went out of the box a little bit unconventional, and he whipped out his juggling skills and combined it with his knowledge of physics, and for 7 minutes showed them what it was all about. And that ended up getting him in the finals, and he took 5th overall. And that is one of the bigger competitions in the Skills USA competition, because everybody from every field can sign up for that. So that was kind of a impressive feat for Tanner. Tanner also took 2nd place in first aid and CPR. There they have mannequins and dummies and 3 judges, and they give you a scenario and you have to figure it out. And so that can be kind of nerve-wracking at times too. So it was a great experience for Tanner, watching his competitive side come out when he made it in the finals, and as he prepared to, on the 2nd day, show off his job skill demo. Was fun to watch. Enna, after last year, so this is her 2nd year competing, her fire was stoked a little bit, and she wanted to come back and bring home some gold. So she worked for 365 days. She was bound and determined to come away successful. She was our chapter president throughout the year. She studied, she practiced often. She just barely missed the podium in medical terminology. She took 4th, but she was the only competitor to beat Tanner in first aid CPR, and she was able to bring home that state title she worked for. So we're thankful for Enna's leadership and Tanner's positive attitude, and I hope they had as much fun as we did along the way. Tanner and Enna.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we have recognition of FFA state winners. Liz Tillman. Do you want to go first? Oh, sorry. I thought it was next, but okay. We can do recognition of the GREA scholarship recipients.
Thank you. These kids have a packed schedule tonight, so I appreciate you adjusting our schedule. Chairman and board, thank you. We are proud to offer a GREA Association Scholarship to Molly Stanton. Molly is the daughter of Kathy and Dan Stanton. Molly has been a member of the Student Council all 4 years at our high school. She has demonstrated exceptional leadership, dedication, and a strong commitment to making a difference in our schools and community. She is a natural born leader. She leads with kindness and integrity. She has done an amazing job of mentoring younger students, not only at the high school, but also at our elementary schools, demonstrating science lessons and providing math and reading support. It's been a joy to watch her come to our elementaries. Molly is also an active member of FFA. She has been a chapter officer for the last 2 years. She is active in the community, acting as a vice president for 2 different 4-H clubs and showing livestock for the past 10 years. Molly plans to attend the University of Wyoming in the fall and major in agriculture. Thank you for honoring our state history and protecting its future.
Congratulations, Molly. Okay, now to FFA.
Madam Chair, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees, it's always a pleasure to get to share our student FFA members' success with you every year. They had some great success in their state convention this past April. We had 25 members compete in 15 career development events. And just to kind of give you some background, it's important to understand that we compete against all high schools. And in most contests that they compete in, there's 30+ teams with maybe 200+ contestants within those teams. So the results I'm going to share with you today are students that placed within the top 10 are very close to that. So it's a very good accomplishment that these students have to place in that area. For the 4th year in a row, our chapter was a gold emblem chapter and one of the 6 chapter of the year finalists. We had the 8th high team in veterinary science contest. They also were the team activity, and Casey Fox was the 4th high individual in the state. We had 2 gold emblem agri-science fair projects that will move on to the national convention. Those were Lily Allison partnered with Molly Stanton, Sydney Lopez partnered with Imogen Wild. We had the 5th high agricultural issues team. We had the 6th high wool judging team, the 9th high team in environmental and natural resources, along with the high team activity. Kat Bronstein was the 13th high individual in agronomy. Taylor Hernandez was the 15th high individual in horse evaluation. And we also had 6 of our senior members receive their state degree, which is the highest honor you can be awarded as a member. And that was Lily Allison, Jordan Cudney, Tacey Fox, Molly Stanton, Lindsay Meltzer, and Lily Janota. I just want to thank you guys again for supporting this chapter and valuing the skills that they get out of this FFA program. We might not be an agricultural-based community, but the skills that these students get are transferable no matter where they go. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Congratulations. And I know you guys all work so hard. We're going to move on to recognition of GRHS State Music and Choir recipients. Klinsky.
Good evening. Miss Forbush couldn't be here tonight. She has a conflict, so I'm going to speak on both behalf. This past couple, I think 2 months ago, we attended our state music festival where we bring our ensembles and solo and small ensembles, which kids prepare on their own time. And they play for an adjudication between 2 different judges, and they receive ratings. And this is a accumulated event of all of their hard work throughout the year. Choir received all excellent and superior ratings, which are the 2 highest rankings they can receive at this event. In addition to all of the bands received both excellent and superior ratings. In addition, the solo and small ensemble from both choir and band received all 1s and 2s, which are superior and excellent. So it was a great year and they did really well and we're really proud of them. So thank you for your support and thank you for having us, celebrate their successes tonight.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, we have recognition of speech and debate coach of the year, Tony Birdsley.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Castilian, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. Once again, I get to stand up here and introduce another coach of the year. And I believe this is Jericho. Why don't you come on up? I think it's Jericho's 2nd time, if I'm correct, right, Jericho? Well, last year he was new coach of the year. This year he's just coach of the year. And as you know, our speech and debate program has a long history of success with Karina White and, Dan Parson, and now Jericho has taken over, and we have placed second twice in a row, just this close to winning the state championship. And so the neat thing about being coach of the year is that it's your peers, it's the other speech and debate coaches and sponsors that vote. And so Jericho, garners their respect, and he's done a great job. As you know, they're going to nationals again, and something very fun. Jericho has worked extremely hard on how are we going to get to nationals in Des Moines? Airline tickets are extremely expensive, so on and so forth. And this year, the kids, I think they're still going to get to do this, correct? We're going to take them down to Denver, bus them to Denver, and they're going to take the train from Denver to just south of Des Moines. And then they've got a bus one way. Then they've got vans coming back the other way, hit the train coming back, and voila, they're here. But I thought it was great when Jericho and I think one of the parents even came up with the idea to ride the train. I think the kids, are extremely excited about it. Not all of us get to ride a train. I think Mr. Behringer may have ridden a train before. Yeah. Anyway, Jericho has done a great job, and it's my pleasure to introduce to the school board another coach of the year and two-time coach of the year, Mr. Jericho Morrell.
Congratulations, Jericho.
Thank
And then
you.
he's going to present to us our state speech and debate winners.
Yeah, if I can have my state speech and debate kids come up here. Chairwoman Castillion and Superintendent Behringer and all the trustees. This is some of the team. So keep in mind, we only get 20 entries when we go to state. And so I'm going to read our 3A state champions and others that placed in state. So, and I know you guys' time is valuable, so I'm going to keep it really short. So starting with Becklin Sweat, she placed third place in POI, and POI is something that they take at least 3 different medias and they write a piece and they put it all together that has to make some kind of point. That one needs a little bit of description because it's a little bit different. And Becklin is right there. And then Spencer and Georgia Morrell. Spencer's not here today, but they placed third in 3A in duo interpretation. Spencer placed third in humorous interpretation. Ilyana Birmingham placed third in dramatic interpretation. Savory, I don't think Savory's here. Okay. Savory placed third in original oratory. And that's a piece that she wrote herself about political polarization. And then Madison Corco placed second in informative speaking. That's a piece that she wrote herself about color theory. James Leffers took third place in extemporaneous speaking. That one, they get 3 topics. They get to choose one of them. They have 30 minutes to prepare a 7-minute speech. Silas Chetterbach he's not here, is he? Okay, Silas took second in extemporaneous speaking. And then I will go through our 3A state champions, starting with Mackenzie Bagshaw and Emma Johnson, who took first place in public forum debate. Leo Evans, not here, took first place in program oral interpretation. Silas Chetterbach, not here, took first place in Lincoln Douglas debate. And Mackenzie Bagshaw took first place in extemporaneous speaking. So I have to give it to these kids. They put in hours and hours and hours of work outside of practice. I cannot give them enough time. divided amongst all of them for them to be as successful as that they are. So their success is due to their hard work. And this year, we had 4 kids. There's premier distinction in the NSDA, only 0.4%, 0.3%. Oh, 3%. Okay. 3% of all kids in the NSDA throughout the whole nation reached that. And we had 4 kids do it this year.
Wow.
So we had Mackenzie Bagshaw, we had Becklin Sweat, we had James Leffers, and then we had Silas Chetterbach. And I just want to point out that Becklin Sweat did it her junior year. So quite an accomplishment on all of their parts. But I want to thank these guys for letting me coach them. So thank you guys a lot.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Our last one is recognition of GRHS State Art Fair students and a presentation on BOCES guest artist.
Hi, Superintendent Behringer, trustees. We're gonna have show and tell. You ready? Okay, so I brought some students with us. I'm gonna go through our visiting artist stuff first and kind of wrap it around with what we have here and how they're all connected. So does this clicker work? Oh. Oh. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so in November we had a visiting artist. His name is Dustin Stevenson. We had him come back in 2019 as well. Basically, what happens with the visiting artists, all my students have social media. They've seen artists all over the place and ask them, who do you want me to go after? And this year it was Dusty. They really like the way that he decorates his pots, and they wanted to learn about that. So we had him come down for 2 days and work with a select group of students who are really, really into this. And there's him in action. Kids had a lot of fun. 2 days of nothing but making pottery. It was a pretty good 2 days. So they didn't have to worry about going to their other classes. The cool thing for me as a teacher is seeing what the kids do with this new knowledge, because when they're in the workshop itself, they're just trying a lot of this new stuff. And then a month afterwards, 2 months afterwards, sometimes 3 months afterwards, then things click into place, and then they find their own voice and a way to use this new media, new technique. If you see that picture up there of Lily Harris, she's using a slip applicator. So she's squishing on liquid clay onto the clay to decorate it. And a few of these, well, a lot of these have that. So Mallory's has it on the surface, Haley's, Garen's, and Noah's. We'll talk about Maddie here in a little bit. She has a whole giant set. She couldn't transport that. So, okay, let's keep going. Next up in March, we did a visiting workshop with Ben Nathan. He is a professor over at Western Wyoming Community College. Really cool. The first time I've had a visiting artist come in that I actually had the privilege of teaching. So I had Ben Nathan back in the day in my class, and it was just cool, kind of full circle moment. He's gone off into the world and got his master's in art and teaches at Western, and he focuses on printmaking, and he taught screen printing to my students. That's a method that I haven't taught them yet, and we had lots of fun. Here's him doing a print. Usually think about screen printing, think about t-shirts, but it can be a lot more involved, and my kids figured that out. So a lot of fun. It's a really cool sound when it goes across the screen. I wish I should have recorded that. Very satisfying. So here's them getting after it, and they just dove right in. And the assignment, they had to make an edition of, I think it was 12 prints after they kind of developed their ideas with multiple layers, and then they exchange prints at the end, which was really cool. And then that brings us to state art. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle Wickstrom, and she's going to tell you all about this.
All people problems. Okay, so this year we took 17 students to state art with us this year, but we took 146 pieces. There were 4,620 pieces overall from around the state jammed into the event center. We took home 52 ribbons, so a little over a third of our pieces ribboned. And we had 3 of the top 25 pottery pieces, which is 3D congressional. So it's their fancy best of the best. So our top 3, we had Haley Clevenger's with her beautiful tall piece with the slip trailing. We had Maddie LaBelle, and she had this beautiful set. Oh, is there a picture? You click. Okay, fabulous. Her piece is fabulous. It is this cardboard piece. Looks like cardboard made out of clay. Incredibly detailed, hard to do. And then Garen Stice for this beautiful tall green thing. These won 3D Congressional, which is they're polled by a committee of art teachers and a visiting artist who choose work from the floor to receive this award. Then we actually had a First Lady Award. Garen Stice's Canyon pot here was chosen by the First Ladies Committee, and it will go to the Governor's Mansion. They have a party where they kind of have a show opening, and then it sits on display at the Governor's Mansion for a year. We'll get that back next year. And then Oliver Baldwin received a scholarship for $2,000 to Western Wyoming State. Well, Western Wyoming, we're going to go with that. But we did really well. Yeah, so this is Emma. What's Emma's last name?
Oh, no.
It's not Emma. Tessa Robinson. Sorry. Tessa Robinson with her bronze piece. I'm not sure who the B was. Savannah. And then McKinley Kilpack. So this is us before we went to our banquet that evening. We tried to make them all dress up and look nice. They had a great time. They partied until way later than we wanted to.
Thanks for letting us share.
Can we get a closer look at those?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty. Wow. That is beautiful. Nice job, Haley. Oh, wow. Cool. That's beautiful. Good job.
Thanks, guys.
You guys, and congratulations. Okay, we're going to move on now to our public comments. Now is the appropriate time for visitors in the audience to be recognized and to speak on items both on the agenda and of general concerns to the patrons of the Green River Schools. There will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. The board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel, and therefore matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Do we have anyone?
Hello, Madam Chair Castilian, Superintendent Manager and Board. Good evening. I'm Marlene Brady, House Representative for District 60. I'm here to speak on your proposed concealed carry policy in light of HB 0172, Wyoming Repeal Gun-Free Zones Act, passed in 2025. First, I want to thank you for crafting a policy that attempts to honor the intent of HB 0172. This law allows employees and volunteers with valid concealed carry permits to carry on school property, reflecting our commitment to individual rights and safety. Your policy's focus on training and safety measures shows you're taking this responsibility seriously, and I commend you for that. I was wanting to take a moment to talk about training costs. Your policy requires employees to complete 16 hours of initial live fire training, 8 hours of scenario-based training, 12 hours of annual recurrent training, and I wanted to make sure you know funding is available. Wyoming Statute 21-3-136 allocates funds through the Wyoming Department of Education for staff training related to concealed carry policies. You can access this through the Department of Education. I'd also encourage you to ask the department if this funding can cover storage solutions like biometric lock boxes. which I'll touch on shortly. Why not leverage these funds to support your staff in meeting these requirements? Well, now let's consider the storage and carry guidelines from the legislation. The law requires firearms to be on the person or in a concealed biometric container or lockbox under the individual's control. Your policy reflects this, but let's dig a little deeper. A lockbox with a key hung on the wall doesn't ensure security. Biometric containers are far safer. For carry, the firearm should be in a prescribed holster in a proper carry position, fully concealed. Slipping a gun behind a belt has risks. Will you consider adding these specifics to your policy to ensure safety and compliance? You've already committed to training requirements, which is great, but let's ensure employees aren't burdened financially when funding exists. By aligning with the statute's guidelines on storage, carrying, and training support, you'll strengthen this policy and protect our schools effectively. Thank you for your dedication to our community and student safety. I also found a National Training Teacher Day. It's Saturday, June 21st. So I'll just leave it with y'all. And it has the website at the bottom if you want to make some more or just make copies. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. And thanks for the additional information about the funding. Do we have anybody else?
I'll make copies. Thanks, Marlene. Mr. Overy's coming up.
Principal O'Grady.
Madam Chair, board members, I just wanted to give a thanks, shout out to Green River Ace Hardware. They did a fundraiser for us and brought us a check yesterday and took a picture with our students for $400 to support our greenhouse, additional hoses and rakes and those kind of things that we're going to need to buy. So it was just out of the blue. Tara Irons, her daughter goes to our school, and it was just great for them to come present that for us, and thank them very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That's great. And thank you to Ace Hardware. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on. I need a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of 4.13, 4.14, and 10.02, and also 10.03. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Tate,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion? Does anyone have anything they want to pull out or discuss? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I also, do I do an approval? Okay, and I also need a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
A motion to approve consent agenda items as presented.
Moved by Tom,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to move on to consider ratification of the interest-based negotiation agreement. Christy Portrait.
Thank you. First of all, I want to express how truly fortunate we are as a district to be able to participate in the IBN process. For those of you who don't understand or don't know the IBN, the school district has interests that are represented, the board brings interests together, and we work together to come up with a proposal. We then propose that out to the GRE members and they voted on it. We are happy to announce that we are 97% in favor of this ratification and appreciate your efforts to communicate. We're also going to be forming a special committee to look at retention of teachers and staff in the district. So thank you. We'll do it again next year.
Sounds good. And thank you for your guys' participation. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Mandy,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, just as a reminder, Expedition Academy graduation is on May 29th at 7 PM. And then the Green River High School graduation is May 31st at 10 AM. And those should be pretty fun. Okay, moving on, consider approval of certified retirement requests. Dr. Foos.
Thanks, Madam Chair. We don't have any retirements tonight, but we have 3 resignations.
Okay.
And so resignations for your consideration: Andrew Winters, 5th grade teacher, Monroe; Kendra Kelhofer, language arts teacher, Lincoln Middle School; Jason Foos, assistant superintendent, central office. Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Tom,
Second.
second by Mandy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approval of new certified contracts for 2025 and 2026.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Again, kudos to the principals and kudos to the district for being able to fill positions. Medium-sized district, filling positions year in and year out is just something that the district really needs to be proud of. So good work to all the folks out there, principals doing the work, and we're very close after these new hires here. So Morgan Porter, elementary teacher, Monroe Elementary; Nicole Harper, elementary teacher, Monroe Elementary; Ashley Roper, elementary teacher, Harrison Elementary; Julianne Wright, language arts teacher, Lincoln Middle School; and hey, welcome back, Julia Huber, math teacher, Lincoln Middle School.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Moved by Tommy,
Second.
second by Tate. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll hear a presentation on Teton Science School from Harrison Elementary. Principal Lake.
Feel Michelle's pain, short people. Madam Chair Castillion, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Behringer, thank you for letting us come tonight and just share a few brief moments with you of our trip to Teton Science School. What an awesome opportunity for kids, and a shout out to BOCES for giving us some money to be able to afford to go. With me, I have our wonderful team, our 4th grade team. I have Whitney Fotheringham and Asia Witt, and our current STEM teacher, Julie Burgess. So I'll let them take over and they can kind of talk about some of the highlights of the trip and some of the things we learned.
All right. Hi, guys. Thank you. We were excited to take our first group of kids this year to Teton Science School. We have a slideshow. We'll kind of go through them. But our kids, we took 28 students and a few chaperones. We had so many things that we got to learn and experience, everything from team building to understanding nature. We learned about aspen trees. We learned about a bunch of wildlife. We got to see a beaver dam with 3 beavers in there. Watch that, observe that for a while. Thank you. We have some clips, really quick clips from our students. A couple students telling you their favorite part. You'll have to click on each one. Yeah.
My favorite part, Teton, was hiking.
That said hiking. Yeah, I listened 3 times just to check.
Hi, so my name is Logan. My favorite part of Teton Science School was the food.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Hallie. Today at Teton Science School, my favorite thing was going hiking and learning more about animals. We also saw a moose.
My favorite part of Teton was probably hiking.
Hi, my name is Makaya, and my favorite thing about Teton Science School was when we stopped on trails exploring everything.
Okay, so
Hi, my name's Hallie. Today at Teton Science School.
Yeah.
All right. So as Whitney said, we did a lot of team building and it was really fun. Kids got to learn some new games. This game currently is called Butt Ball, and they really enjoyed that one a lot. They worked together to learn about the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, which involves not only the aspens and the conifer trees and friendly firs, as they call them, but like we said, also all of the wildlife. And then an aspen trees, as you can see, our student Nicole here on the right has some gray powder. If you have ever touched an aspen tree and you get that gray powder on your hands, that is a natural sunscreen, and it's got about an SPF of 4. So the kids were enjoying sunscreening up with their aspen powder and learning all about that. Mrs. Fotheringham's troop made it to Taggart Lake. They are the only group that made it that far. And they got to hike through about a foot of snow.
Yeah, it was quite deep.
And it was quite deep. But in total, groups this day on Tuesday hiked. Their group probably hiked a total of 4 miles up to this lake and back. The kids had a lot of fun learning and exploring about the ecosystem there underneath the Tetons.
Most of our students said that their favorite part was hiking. And so that was kind of a cool.
I think it's not an opportunity that, yes, we have trails and we have hiking areas here, but because we're in the Red Desert, like this was something that our students had never experienced before.
Just some of the things that we learned about in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem.
And this is the moose yearling that walked right in front of our cabins, probably a few yards away. The morning we left. This is one of the beavers that we watched work for probably a solid 45 minutes. It's pretty cool. Some marmots or rock chucks, and then Mr. Lake took a picture of some really great elk on a night that we got snowed out. More hiking, beautiful waterfalls, the Grand Tetons behind them. And again, some more teamwork and friendship. Our students had a lot of good opportunities. As Mrs. Fotheringham said, this is something that a lot of them had never even experienced before. I think a couple had said that they hadn't even been camping before. So to go and sleep with their friends in these cabins and have this opportunity, and especially in the spring when everything is coming alive, it was fantastic opportunity. We were very lucky to have it. Our last day on what they called Postcard Peak, another great hike. And they also had to help do chores at the end of every meal, which was fantastic. They had to wash dishes, they had to sweep the floor, put up the chairs, wipe down the tables, make sure everything was nice and neat and clean. They couldn't wear their shoes into the buildings. So that was a wonderful lesson that they all enjoyed really doing. We didn't have one complaint. They loved it. And there you go, some boys having fun and doing dishes. Okay. So we really enjoyed having this opportunity, and we thank you so much for helping us with this. And we really look forward to hopefully continuing to go in the future, helping our students learn to work together, learn about wildlife, which does align with 4th grade standards, helping them to be prepared, teamwork, and knowing that learning can ultimately be so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. It is really fun there. I had an opportunity to go several years ago, and yeah, they have a great staff there and great facilities. So I'm glad those kids got to go. Okay, next we will hear a presentation on work-based learning. Toman and Heslop.
Hi again. I have had the honor of being the lead teacher for this work-based learning program here at the high school. And we would just like to give you an overview of where we started and kind of where we're at and the benefits we hope to see out of this program. And we also have Lily and Allison, who got to be one of our pilots for this program. So if you're wondering what is a work-based learning program, and really it's alignment with the profile of the graduate that WD came up with, and it's giving students real world application and skills that they're able to see in the workplace and then hopefully apply what they've learned in the classroom and make sure they are going into a career and be prepared for a career that they hopefully choose on for the future. Mr. Heslop, do you want to talk about why?
You know, when Mr. Behringer guided a lot of work with Two Revolutions last year to try to figure out how to enhance what we're doing with kids and helping them prepare for life after high school. And when looking at Profile of a Graduate, it was an overwhelming document with tons of initiatives driven by the state of Wyoming and Governor Gordon putting a task force together to get different representation to figure out what they believed was important for kids to know and be able to do when they got out of college or out of high school. As a district, we got different stakeholder groups together and we identified some of those key programs. I talked to our staff about these being the essential standards of that profile of a graduate. And these are the skills that we have focused on to help build an experience for our kids as they go out into the workforce and get into this work-based learning experience.
So a little bit of history on this. Back in 2024, we had 3 pilot students that we had dive into this. We developed a handbook to kind of guide us. And then we developed an interest survey to help us place students that are interested within this program so that we can match their career interests with industry within the community that we have. This year, we had 24 amazing students participate in this venture, and they were at 13 different locations. We were able to form a team within the high school and some industry representatives to help us connect with industry and place students where they would be best fit for those career pathways that they had chosen. Looking at the profile of a graduate, we built an online course for those students to hit some of those standards that they might not necessarily see on their workplace. And then those, of course, were aligned with that profile of a graduate. And then we got to develop some assessment criteria to make sure these students are hitting the targets that we want them to hit. And we actually have evidence of those students attaining that criteria. This is just a quick overview of where we had our students placed, and we chose for our pilot group to focus on our CTE concentrators. So those are students that have taken at least 3 years of a career technical education course, and we thought we could get a really good guinea pig group, I guess you could say, out of these students and be our first ones to kind of pave the path for this. We were really heavy in the health sciences department, which I did not anticipate in the beginning. But we have students all the way from Birch Family Dental, the hospital, chiropractics, Genesis Alkali. We had some engineers, we had an architect, we had students at the veterinary office. And that kind of is our job shadowing of how that looks this year. Next year, we have a wide more variety of, I think about 30 students right now that are interested in this from our counseling appointments that span probably any field you could think of that we have within the community. So that's exciting to see, and we're hoping to grow it a little bit more. Just so you can kind of understand how we are gauging their learning. I mean, we can send a kid out into industry, but what are they truly learning? So we broke it up into basically 3 categories. 15% of their grade is based off of that online curriculum that they have to complete, and it's self-paced. It's the first 3 weeks that they're with us for the semester. Then when they move to their learning experience, this is 35%. They have to get employer evaluations done, and we receive those back. They also have to fill out an online journal that tracks what they do every day and track what skill that connects to for the profile of a graduate, so they can justify, I'm learning what I'm learning at my location. And then currently right now, we are listening to capstone presentations of these students defending why they should get credit for this class and what skills they learn. And those have been really eye-opening and insightful to listen to, that these students, yes, they're figuring out, well, I want to be an engineer, I don't want to be an engineer, but they're truly getting to see career-based skills that they are going to need to be successful, and no matter where they are. And I think one student really put it perfectly to me today, that we have classroom learning that you can learn all the foundation of information and knowledge that you need to, but this was career learning for her, and she gets to go see every day from a career professional what it's going to take to be successful in that field. And I think from the 6 or so, maybe 10 students that we've heard so far in this, is that they are learning some skills beyond the classroom that's going to prepare them to be ready for life out of high school, no matter what career they go into. So that's been really helpful. As we look forward, right now we're wrapping up their courses and they're having their capstone presentations. We're starting to get some feedback and reflection, and we have a lot of room to grow with this program, but I'm very excited about the feedback we've gotten from students and their honest opinions on how we can make this better, and feedback from industry. We've got some amazing partners within our community in the industry that are looking forward, thinking, how can I build this program to better suit these students and suit our needs? So that's really exciting to see. We have some opportunities for growth. We want to make sure this is accessible for all students. We are trying to figure out right now how we can award credit. Right now, they get an elective credit, but is there that possibility to award core credit, maybe tie it to an English class? So possibilities that we're pursuing. There's a lot of growth for us to increase business partnerships, and I think it's only going to grow from here, and exciting to see how many people within our community are willing to reach out to these students and have a hand in helping prepare them for their future careers.
You know, in our first year when we started this, we had a handful of kids like we talked about previously, and we were trying to figure out how to make this work within the system of high school. High school is a very rigid, very structured, scheduled series of events where they have to go to math and in English and science, and they have bells and all kinds of things. This is a lot different than that. And you got to be very creative, and you got to be flexible, and you got to be able to think outside the box to create opportunities for kids to break out of that mold and find these new opportunities to learn, to prepare them for their life after high school. And these presentations that we've seen, these capstone presentations, have just been remarkable. The things that kids have learned and their ability to speak and present in front of an audience and be recorded is, I couldn't have done that in high school. Heck, I can't do it now hardly. But let's talk to Lily for a second. She's done a great job, and she has some great insight on what she got out of the program and what it's meant to her.
So for me, the work-based learning program, I was at Fremont Therapy Group. I worked as a technician there, and then I shadowed the PTs. For the first part of it, I pretty much just was a little kind of like a puppy following around their owner. But from there, I graduated to being able to do the laundry and cleaning the tables. I knew the schedule. I knew which insurances went with which patient and who we could overlap and what time was. And so for me, the skills that I honed in on were the communication, the time awareness, and then the confidence in problem solving. I guess something that I think about when I think about school and how important it is, okay, which classes do I think about when I'm not in them? And for a lot of students, especially of a senior, there's not a lot of those. For me, this was something I thought about first thing when I woke up, when I was leaving school, what I was thinking about the next day. This was a class that like you didn't stress about, but you were constantly trying to engage in. And for me, that was just something new and different. And it kept me engaged in the last semester of my high school career. So thank you.
Thank you. Good job, Lily.
So I would say that I've heard from multiple people, your presentation at the RIDE conference last Friday was really well attended and lots of questions afterwards, and you guys did a really good job. So good job.
Liv does a good job. I wanted to talk to you while I was up here for a minute. We've done a lot of work as a staff developing a new bell schedule and intervention program to better meet the needs of our students. And what I'm excited about with this program is that we worked as a staff to do this. This isn't something that a few administrators sat down with a counselor and tried to figure this out. This was a collaborative effort with our staff. We worked as a guiding coalition. We proposed ideas. We surveyed staff. We surveyed students, and we tried to come up with some genuine feedback to guide what it is that we want to do and how do we want to try and do this. Some of the complaints and frustrations, I think, is what kind of rose us to this challenge. Some of the lack of flexibility and responsiveness to the student needs were the driving force in taking a look at schedules and looking at intervention programs to figure out how we can better help some of our students. As I talked about previously, it was driven by staff and student input. Students and staff were provided feedback. We recognized both those strengths and concerns, and then tried to put an agenda out for us to figure out how can we solve these problems. The feedback by both the staff and the students was very, very similar. It facilitated conversations in PLC meetings, which then went into our staff. Our staff then presented their ideas from their teams to figure out how to try to solve these problems. We came to a consensus on a bell schedule and some main ideas to come up with solving intervention programs to better address our students. Here's some examples of some of the feedback that we got from our students. They wanted to move things to a Friday so they could get missing work taken care of. Requested students with poor grades and missing assignments. A lot of our students felt like we were doing something to them instead of doing something for them with intervention. So it almost felt like a punishment. And we wanted to try to help make it feel like something that we were trying to do to kids to help them out, and also provide an incentive for those that were doing the right things by studying, by keeping up with their grades, by doing the things that they were supposed to do in the classrooms. Like I said, very similar feedback from our staff. And then we decided, how are we going to try to solve this problem? Addressing student needs, creating time in our PLC teams to address this information, more frequent interventions. We were trying to do things once a week, and with some rotation that we had with trying to get different content areas access to kids, sometimes kids didn't get the help that they needed for multiple weeks. That's not a way to help kids. You got to try and do it immediate. You got to try and do it consciously. You need to try to do it systematically in a way that helps them right away. So those are some of the things that we tried to do to help solve that problem. Some of the data to support this information, we looked at attendance a lot, we looked at grades a lot, and we looked at the impact of the feedback. Absenteeism is very, very high in our high school for both students and staff. We have a lot of activities. We also have parents that want to support their kids who are participating. In addition to that, we have coaches, we have sponsors, and we also have officials that all work in our school district to try to help provide these opportunities for kids. With that, we have lots of subs in our buildings, which impacts instruction. So if we can align time appropriately, we can help our kids and have our teachers and staff available for our kids when they're there. And we also found that there's high absenteeism on our Wednesdays, which is when we were providing our intervention system. And what that told us was that our parents were excusing some of our students because they didn't think what we were providing was supportive for them. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you the bell schedule that we are put together for next year, which is compliant with all of the laws and rules of Wyoming Department of Education. We're offering 50-minute periods, 4 days a week. We have 2 lunches. We feel like that promotes a very safe environment for our students by having smaller groups of them leaving for lunch and going off campus to get something to eat if that's what they choose. We have a homeroom where we're going to meet on Mondays, where we assign out different things to our students based off what their needs are. So if they have an intervention that they're being assigned, they're being informed about that on Monday. And then they're also being told if they aren't assigned. So they have the option to go to a club activity or a meeting or take time off at the end of the day to get ready for practice or what have you, possibly work or whatever. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the students that are assigned to an intervention will get to stay, and that's when those different meetings and club activities are. On Friday, our class periods are 45 minutes long. We get out a little bit earlier. That's the time that we have built in for our teams to work as a PLC to allow us to get our grades caught up, to allow us to try to have those meetings to figure out which ways we're going to help which kids and work together as a team or in different groups. Some of the highlights of this new intervention program is that we're offering intervention 4 days a week instead of 1 day a week. Students with failing and missing grades or need for help are those that will be assigned. Students may also request to get help from teachers at that time. Students get help from more than one teacher a week, which is something that's new to this. Students released after completing their assigned interventions. So once they're done, and then they earn the right to take off and use that extra time to get ready for their next thing in school. Those students that are assigned, they get out at 3:08. All students are released on Friday at 2:10. That's when teachers will have time to get together and meet and plan and prepare for the following week and get the interventions put in place. Grade reports are pulled on Monday. We've talked about the times that kids get out. We talked about the intervention programs and when we're doing homeroom and when they're being released early already. I have prepared for you a document that you can take and look at that has a little bit more detail to it to help you understand what that's like in case you have people that come up to you and ask questions about it or concerns or whatever. So I'll hand that out to you and I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Heslop, and it'd be exciting to see how well, that works for kids and that they're able to work with multiple teachers. So thank you. We're going to move ahead to 9.01, consider approval to go out to bid for oil, gas, and fluids. Rachel Todd.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. We request authorization to solicit bids for fuel, oil, DEF, and antifreeze for the Transportation Department with specifications for the transportation's fleet needs. We will evaluate the responses and present recommendations for consideration at the June board meeting.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Tom, second by Mandy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks. Thank you. All right. Consider approval of RFP for food, non-food, and produce. Leah Kennison.
Tall people problems. Madam Chair Castilian, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees, we sent our RFP to two distribution centers. One was Nicholas and Company, the other one was Cisco Intermountain. Cisco Intermountain was unresponsive in their documentation. Therefore, we're seeking your approval as part of the Western Wyoming Food Co-op to award the request for proposal to Nicholas and Company for food, non-food, and produce for the 25-26 school year.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Tate,
Second.
second by Dan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll hear an update on summer projects. Doug Hamel.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board. A little early for updates, but what we'll do is go over just a list of things that some of the things we have going on. Everybody knows we have the Washington elevator. We're going to replace a set of doors at Green River High School. We're going to replace cameras in the district. We're going to do some work for Liz. We got a bathroom at a special ed room at the high school. We got landscaping project at Harrison. We're going to try to get to a Washington fence, and we're going to do a Washington gazebo for the PTO. And even though I haven't seen anything about it, it looks like we're going to do a greenhouse for EA. And that's kind of an overview of what we do during the summer.
You're not
We
busy at
have
all.
some other projects.
There's
going
some
on,
other
but
ones,
those are
but they're
those are the
smaller.
bigger ones. Yeah.
They're smaller and
Yeah.
and in case you thought maybe we weren't doing anything.
At least we thought you were on summer break.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move to consider approval for the preliminary budget, but I understand we're going to go in a different order. So we'll just turn it over to Katie Harder.
Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair Castilian, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Behringer. I'm going to start with the debt service amendment. We received some delayed tax collection relative to the debt service this year. We did not anticipate those funds. These funds were transferred into our aquatic center accounts. They will be designated for maintenance or pool repairs.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the debt service amendment for 2024-25?
So moved.
Moved by Mandy, second by Michelle. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next I'm going to do the capital projects amendment. This is a mirror image of the rec board amendment for the additional funds to the Wolves Stadium scoreboard.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the capital project amendment for 2024-2025?
I'll motion to approve.
Moved by Tom,
Second.
second by Tate. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, special revenue amendment. We received some additional funding that we did not anticipate, such as TSI, that's Targeted Support and Improvement, and mental health grant money. This is adding the revenue for those two grants.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the special revenue amendment?
I move to approve the special revenue amendment.
Moved by Tommy,
Second.
second by Tate. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Next, I'm going to do the preliminary budget. This is similar to our budget talks that we had in March. Right? Okay. Budget considerations for fiscal year 2026. As always, we are looking at retention and recruitment. We want to maintain instructional service levels for our students and maintain benefits for employees. This year, we had a health insurance premium increase of 3%, and for dental, it was 0%. We are also continuing with the employer injury liability insurance. This is workers' comp for those employees not covered by workers' comp. We also are looking at inflation. This year, we will also be adding a concealed carry coverage, and we are dealing with a continual decrease in enrollment. And not this year, but next year, we will be looking at a loss of funding for Toman Ranch School. We did receive an external cost adjustment to the model funding, and we are getting special education and transportation reimbursement. We have a current decrease in the average daily membership of 31. So in utilizing the model funding with the approval of the IBN tonight, we are able to do the following. Employees with health and dental insurance will not see an increase to their monthly premiums. We also utilize grant funding. We have one more year with the Stronger Connections grant. This will finalize June 30th of 2026. We are also receiving TIS funding until December of 2026. Mental health grant started this year, and we'll be getting more of that in the next fiscal year. This has helped and staff such as the J Foundation. We are going to continue asking for BOCES funding. And with the property tax relief bill, we will see a cut in funding there. However, we will be able to maintain programs for students. For the fiscal year 2026, the cash reserves are going to help us with the nutrition service subsidy and the summer phone update. Currently, we are required to have our reserves to 15% by June 30th of 2028. This could change in next year's legislation. We are anticipating being at 19.36% on June 30th of this year. These are our preliminary assessed valuation numbers. The county is still working on these numbers, and we will have final numbers in June. The decrease you're seeing here is from residential property tax exemptions and decrease in mineral production, for example, natural gas and Trona. I talked with Dave Divis today, and we are continuing to look at these numbers. The model funding works, so we have a guarantee amount for our district. Our payments come from the county with mineral and non-mineral taxes. If we receive funds more than our guarantee, we pay that back to the Wyoming Department of Education. This is called recapture, and we have been in that state for a couple of years. Prior to 2022, we were entitlement, which means we made less in local revenue, and the state paid us money.
We are on the bubble because of the local revenue, and it could go either way for fiscal year 2026, and we are continuing to look at that. Here are the preliminary budgets, and the total is 62,036,025. Some budget highlights. The nutrition service subsidy will be 500,000, 200 of which will come from reserves. Again, BOCES funding is going to decrease with an estimated amount of 25%, and that's due to the residential property tax relief. Also, during legislation this year with House Bill 18, CTE was taken off model. We can now only use this funding for supplies and materials. And for major maintenance for the fiscal year 2026 only, the allowable square footage increases from 115% to 135%, which will increase our funding. With that, I ask for your approval of the preliminary budget. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just have a couple of comments.
Okay.
But even though we're recapture district, we don't get to keep any of the money that we're going to lose in property taxes for BOCES or the rec mill. Is that correct? We're not going to be able to use that money to offset those costs.
Right.
Okay. So the rec mill generates 1.152 million. If we take a 20% cut, that's $230,000. So technically, by the way it's written here, we won't even have enough money in the rec mill to cover the dedicated amount of $971,000. This year we funded $250,000 worth of programs. Those kinds of things are all going to go away. Things that we heard tonight, $536,000 from BOCES to our regular fund. The Teton Science School, the guest speaker, all of those are funded by BOCES or rec mill. So I'm just trying to make everybody aware that this is a big cut and it's going to affect a lot of programs. So I'd be speaking to your legislators. If we can't find a way, this is preliminary, so it may not be as bad as we think, but we're gonna be using some other funds or we're gonna be cutting programs.
Yep.
So
Thank you. Do I do an approval for that? Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to approve the preliminary budget for 2025-2026.
I'll motion to approve the preliminary budget for 25-26.
Moved by Tate, second by Tom. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Katie and team. You guys do a great job. Okay, we're going to move on to consider approval of FFA Land Lab agreement with the City of Green River. Mr. Barron.
Okay, after 4 years, Mr. Hamel, we think we are near the finish line. So we have an agreement with the city. I'm not sure if they've signed it yet, but it doesn't make any difference who goes first. But in front of you, you have a map of 3 acres of land that we will do a 25-year lease with them. And in kind, that MOU will also have a 25-year lease for the property near the old Roosevelt School or Senior Citizen Center. And so it's really just the swapping of land for that time. We're excited to get started. I think the FFA program we heard today, Mr. Hamlin and I went down and looked over the property. There's a lot of work that we need to do, but one of the 4-H people were there and they were excited because their daughter wants to raise a steer for FFA. And without that land, they're not going to be able to do that. So we're excited to hit the finish line on this.
Perfect. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the FFA Land Lab agreement with the City of Green River?
A motion to approve.
Moved by Mandy,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, let the record reflect I'll abstain.
Thank you. Tommy will abstain from the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next we will consider approval of the revision to policy GCI and GDI, staff selection assignments and transfers. Dr. Foos.
Thank you, Madam Chair, trustees. I don't think Representative Brady is still here, but I appreciate her comments tonight on the record. And so this policy here deals with the hiring transfer policy. We did extensive work with GREA and a broader committee this year, and this is a result of that work. It's been vetted by attorneys, and is it perfect? Does it address everybody's concerns and needs? It doesn't, but it is a start, and we're proud to bring this forward, and I say we, from the district and our association, as a potential policy that helps guide these practices moving forward.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the revision to policy GCI and GDI?
So moved.
Moved by Tom,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Well, the firearms policy, we are in response to legislation. Legislation allows the district to add additional parameters to volunteers, staff members, those who may be in front of other staff members and children. You heard Representative Brady talk about it. If it is a staff member or volunteer, there are those additional requirements of the additional training, and that could be a little bit of an expense. Appreciate pointing us in the direction of the grant, but this policy is thorough. This policy is developed by the Wyoming School Board Association in cooperation with other school districts and multiple attorney offices. And this is a result to that legislation and a result of that committee. And here's the policy for your consideration on first reading. I'll add one other note. Chief Sterlingson has worked with the district extensively and may be willing to take on part of the training for staff members and volunteers. But it is, in the interest of the district not to put that in the policy. He just knows that he will be a partner with the district to help fulfill some of those requirements. So thanks for your consideration for the first reading.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the new policy CKA firearms, personnel authorized to carry, concealed carry?
So moved.
Moved by Tom, second by Tate. Any discussion?
I would say that there's some confusion on the box. So unless I misunderstood what Marlene said, there's districts that have the security boxes for the guns, and those, to what we were told last time, I think if I understood it right, were that those will not work because it's concealed carry, and unless you have that gun, that weapon on you all the time, it's not considered a concealed carry. So to have it in a box. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
So the legislation addresses concealed carry, not guns on campus in a box. It is the concealed carry provision. You put it on you, no one is supposed to know.
So are we crossing that out in this, because the policy I read had the box in it?
Yes, we may. And at Super 8, and Mary has the minutes that we talked about, let's get this thing going on the first reading. And we're waiting for some feedback back from Kopechne's office and Sean Scoggins' office, but it may be crossed out, but we don't have guidance on it yet. And so the reason why it's in there for tonight is to get going on this first reading. Those adjustments will be made so that this is in place as a policy this summer, ready to go.
And I would just add, I was on a board chair meeting with chairs throughout the state, and it's the same every district. They're all in debate of how to interpret the legislation and what's the best for their district. So some are passing policies, some aren't, but anyway.
Dr. Foos, just
doing our best.
If people have comments or suggestions or just want to inquire, how do they do that?
Yeah, there's multiple ways. You can reach out to the association. You can reach out to our offices here at central office. They can reach out to the board directly. And again, one of the processes here at SW2 is the vetting of these policies through Super 8 and through a 3-reading process where people now have the awareness, they can see the policy, and they have multiple avenues to reach out. So if one of the trustees get a concerned email, please forward it to Superintendent Behringer, and likewise, Christy, if you get a concerned email, please forward it to us, and then that will become as a discussion point at the next Super 8 meeting, and maybe they'll be resolved, maybe they won't be. And if the feedback comes back soon enough, we can reach out to Wyoming School Board Association and the attorneys to say yay or nay, or to get some feedback on the concern.
And just as a point of clarification, I think everybody knows, but our policy only addresses volunteers and employees. It does not address anybody else in our community. So, you know, if people are saying, you know, talking about those things, it's just an employee volunteer policy, right?
That is correct. And you can see the definition of volunteer right there in the larger paragraph. We, Super 8, really like that definition, because if I'm going to volunteer, let's say for basketball, but I have no other affiliation with the district, and that is a very common thing in our district. There's volunteers in almost every activity in sport. Now you become bound by the provisions of this policy, meaning you have to have the additional training. If there's zero affiliation outside that definition of staff or volunteer, you can conceal carry without telling a person.
Any other discussion?
Craig, where are we at with the insurance? Are they figuring that out?
Katie's working on that right now.
Okay.
And so it'll be a carrier outside of our regular policy. We don't have a price on that yet, though, I don't think.
But did they think they found a carrier that will do, okay. Okay, thank you.
And were we gonna add board to that? Or,
Yes, if we could talk,
Okay.
we'll talk about that with that next one, but yes, we will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve? Oh, we did. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll move ahead to superintendent and board comments. Let's start with Tommy today.
We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not sure where to start. I love seeing the students in here. It's always great to see their accomplishments, and whether they're present here or we got videos, or just to hear their accomplishments. So that's always welcome. I look forward to celebrating the seniors here coming up very soon. It's an exciting time for them in their lives. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mandy.
3 weeks left or so. So I hope everyone has a good few weeks left. I know everyone's kind of ready. I know my son is ready. One more meeting for you. So, thanks everyone for the last 6 months, or our first 6 months. You guys have all been very welcoming and helping and getting us up to speed. So I appreciate it. Went up to the high school and seen some of the projects. We have some very artistic kids in this district, so we're very fortunate. But if I don't see everybody before school, I hope everyone has a good summer. Stay safe, and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Same thing. The students and athletes, seeing them do so good in every aspect between art, Skills USA, even the young authors at that age, being able to do that great of stuff is amazing. Like Tommy said, it's senior time. Going to all the graduations, it's fun to see those kids' face that they actually accomplished something and made it through. And thank you for all the community helping out, getting everything done. That's all I got.
Thank you. Michelle?
I just can reiterate, and I really like the outdoor things that are going on and the real life experiences. I think that is so vital, because sometimes we don't have a clue, you know, we live in a bubble kind of at school, and to be exposed to the science and to Teton and physical therapy and all those things that were going on. It's pretty exciting to be a part of, and I look forward to summer vacation.
Okay.
You're retired, you know.
Tom?
I had a lot of things written down here, but I'm gonna group them up. There's just a lot of great things going on at Green River High School right now. Tate and I spent the last couple of days along with Dr. Demeray and several others doing an interview process, mock interviews, which is a great program. It was a good opportunity for us, but it was a good opportunity for the kids to get a good look at what an actual job interview looks like. So Kayla Mohanovich, hats off to her. The work-based program, this is our last board meeting before graduation. So that'll be the best part of your job. I guarantee you'll love that. A little bit about Lily Harris. Just so you know, the last tournament she went to, not only did she win, she didn't get scored on. So there were some points scored, but only because she let them up so she could take them down again. But last night, Burger King flew a representative in here. They hand out 3 scholarships from their foundation program, 3 scholarships worldwide. And Lily Harris received one of those scholarships for $60,000 last night. She's also received a $20,000 scholarship from Horatio Algiers. She's going to attend Mesa. She's going to she has scholarships to Harvard. She has scholarships to several Ivy League schools, but she's choosing to go to Mesa so she can continue her wrestling career. She's going to forego her graduation party so she can go to Germany to tour Europe with her sister. So, I mean, when I talked to her dad today, he credits Green River Schools for the success of their kids. When I was the athletic director, it was one of those deals. If the Harris family moved out of town, we were going to move down to 3A.
Yeah.
But lastly, on May 30th, we're sponsoring a golf tournament in honor of Macy Braden, who was one of our students who died on October 3rd, 2016. We've funded this scholarship for the last 9 years through private donations, but we want to transition that over to having one fundraiser a year. So if you're up for a fun golf tournament, I'll tell you how bad it is I'm going to be golfing in it. So you don't have to qualify as a golfer in order to play. But it's a 4-person scramble. It's a good team. We're only taking 18 teams and there were 14 signed up. So if you feel like you want to get involved or at least come and say hi to Christy, Macy's mom, we'll all be there. We invite you in. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Tate.
Thanks everybody who came out tonight. Big turnout, lots of recognition. What an amazing district we have. I think I've said that a few times while I'm up here, but admin, staff, everybody from the top to the bottom, what a great job we do at this district. I know that other districts are looking up to us. Good luck to the softball team and the soccer team at regionals this weekend. Dr. Foose, coach, congratulations on your new position. We're going to miss you here. I hope the last 3 weeks that you're here, or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, are great for you. Work-based learning program is taken off. My first week after we got elected, they asked me to come and sit in on a meeting when they were just trying to get it going. And I think Mr. Heslop told me that there are 30 to possibly 50 kids in the program next year. So that's amazing. Thank you guys for everything you do. Let's finish out the school year well.
Thank you. I attended the WSBA board meeting. A couple things out of that. We are going to be looking to re-looking at the strategic plan of WSBA. So just kind of make that a little more concise and understandable. Also brought to our attention was the bill HB 0332, just regarding association dues and where they're coming from and how that will affect associations being able to lobby the legislature, which could have a huge impact on the way our legislators learn about different issues, like what we're doing. So anyway, that's one to keep an eye on and to contact your legislator about. Just a big thank you to all of those who are retiring from our district or leaving our district, years and years and years of experience leaving us, and many lives touched of our students and other staff members. So thank you to all of them. And Jason, we will definitely miss you and hope that Thermopolis is great to you. Also, thank you to the board. Everybody works really hard in doing all the things that they have that they're in charge of. And so thank you for that. And good luck to all of our graduates. They're going to go out and do some amazing things. And so it's really fun to shake their hands and tell them congratulations. So we look forward to that. Craig.
I think everything's been very well covered. Good job, Darren, and good job to the Teton Science School. That was a great presentation too. So thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we will adjourn our meeting.